You're watching Let the Quran Speak. Who are the Ya'juj and Ma'juj? The Quran describes them as destructive forces. But what are they? Generations of scholars have tried to pinpoint their identities. We're going to be looking at that now as part of our Misunderstood Quranic Verses series. The verse in question is from chapter 18. It's verse 94. And Dr. Shabir, welcome to Let the Quran Speak.
Pleasure to be on.
The verse is... in English, they said, "O Dhul Qarnayn, indeed Gog and Magog are spreading corruption in the land. Should we pay you tribute, provided that you build a wall between us and them?" So what is this referring to?
Yeah. So, Safiya, not much is said about Ya'juj and Ma'juj or Gog and Magog in the Quran. There are only two references. One is in this passage that you just read, and the other is in the 21st chapter, where it speaks about some end time, and it says, "Hatta idha futihat Ya'juj wa Ma'juj wa hum min kulli hadibi yansilun," until Gog and Magog are released, and they come swarming down from every high place, or from every mountainous region, something of this nature. And then
so you mentioned Gog and Magog. What's the relationship to Ya'juj and Ma'juj?
Yeah, so Gog and Magog is the English pronunciation as this comes down from the biblical languages and then eventually got translated into English.
Okay, so it's actually in the Bible.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, and of course you know that our Egyptian brothers and sisters pronounce the Jim of Arabic, which is like a J in English, as a hard G, as in Godfrey, right? As in God, yes. So Ya'juj becomes Magog, okay? Ya'juj and Ma'juj. So Ma'juj becomes Magog, and so the J's get translated into hard G sounds. So who were the Gog and Magog? In the book of Ezekiel, in chapter 38, there is a mention of Gog from Magog. So it looks like there, Magog is a place and Gog is a kind of people who come from the place called Magog. But later on in Jewish apocalypticism, these two come to be identified as names of two different people, so Gog and Magog. And in the book of Revelation in the Christian Bible, the last book of the Christian Bible, Gog and Magog are shown to be two groups of people who will be allies of Satan in the final battle of all things. Now, in the Quranic narrative, very little is said about them. And in the Dhul Qarnayn story, the Dhul Qarnayn come to a people who can hardly understand speech, but they're able to say, "Inna Ya'juj wa Ma'juj mufsiduna fil ard." Ya'juj and Ma'juj are causing corruption in the land. فَهَلْ نَجْعَلْ لَكَ خَرْجًا عَلَىٰ أَنْ تَجْعَلَ بَيْنَنَا وَبَيْنَهُمْ سَدًّا. So would it be possible for us to, would you accept for us to gather some money together as a wage for you? And in return, you would build a wall or a dam to prevent, a barrier between us and them. In other words, to protect us from those ravenous people. From the Quranic narrative, one might say, you know what, we don't know, the Quran is not telling us factually that Ya'juj and Ma'juj are like this and how they are. In fact, it doesn't say much other than this, but we're talking here about the perception of these people. These people who can hardly understand speech, they're able to articulate at least that we fear these people. So these fearsome people, from the point of view of these individuals, is this is the problem at hand now. It's not that people are fearsome in fact, but that these people on the ground fear them. And Dhul Qarnayn needs to help these people who are in fear. So what is he going to do? He's going to build a wall for them. Okay, if this is what's going to help you and make you feel safe, okay, I'm going to build a wall for you. And I'm going to build a strong and sturdy one, a dam between the mountain pass or something like this. Or maybe it is a fact that there were some such fearful people who are called Ya'juj and Ma'juj, and maybe they will come swarming down from, not maybe they will come swarming down, as another verse of the Quran says. But whether these are the two same people, this is, we are making a link here which is not necessary. It could be that a long time ago there were people who were called Ya'juj and Ma'juj, and in the future as well there will be some people who will be called Ya'juj and Ma'juj who will come swarming down from the mountain and the hilltops. It doesn't mean that the two are necessarily the same people, and definitely they wouldn't be because they're separated by generations, right? Even if there is a continuity. the Muslim commentators try to find out, like, who is the Ya'juj and Ma'juj, and they identify different people at different times. And now they want to find out where is that barrier. So some travelers, travel east and find the Great Wall of China, and they say, okay, that's the barrier. Some find, a wall or a gate at Darband, and they say, okay, on the eastern shore of the Mediterranean, and they say, okay, this is the wall that Dhul Qarnayn built. But if we understand from the inception that this is a story that was pre-Quranic, and the Quran is giving like a sanitized version of it, a Quranic version of it, to bring out the Quran's theological, moral, and ethical teaching. We don't have to find, the gate on the ground. We don't have to locate it within geography, and we don't have to locate the people within history. Otherwise, we try to locate the people within history. People have been identifying, the Huns or the Visigoths, or one people after another, and everybody seems to identify different people as Ya'juj and Ma'juj. Moreover, what is interesting is the kind of legends that accrued in Muslim commentators. So Muslims imagined the Ya'juj and Ma'juj to be creatures who are humans, but they're half the height of the average human at the time when the tafsirs were being written, and we can safely say half of the height of humans today, so probably no more than 3 feet tall. And these persons, they had such huge ears that one ear could cover the entire body, and the other one could be used as a mat on the ground. So when they're ready to sleep, they sleep on one, cover themselves with the other ear. This is their ears, by the way. And instead of fingernails, they have claws, and so on. And they're ravenous, they eat human flesh, and so on. This is the kind of scary bogeyman that, people would scare their kids about, right? So Muslim commentators imagine the Ya'juj and Ma'juj, or Gog and Magog, to be of this kind of description. And we should be aware as Quran readers today that we should distinguish between what the Quran actually says and what people have made it out to be. And in the first place here, the Quran does not say that at the time of Dhul Qarnayn, there were such a ravenous people. The people are only spoken about by name, and no details are given about them. Another verse of the Quran speaks about people by the same name who will be coming down from the mountaintops in swarms. That means there will be a lot of them, obviously, but it does not need all of these legends that have accrued in the Muslim commentaries. Otherwise, we have it that in the Muslim commentaries that each one of these Ya'juj and Ma'juj people, each man would sire 1,000 offsprings, and each woman would bear 1,000 children. And so it was easy for them to predict their deaths, because once they have begotten like a 1,000th baby, now they realize that their time has come to an end, and so on. So all of this is legendary. Like, who is going to keep the count of 1,000, right? How many children? You have 1,000 children. You're going to remember, there's 889th, or how many? And did they keep written records and so on? No need for all of these legends, but it shows the kind of propensity that the classical commentators had for developing and perpetuating legends. And they spoke about these as if these are true. So we should ask, today, like, who are we going to take our knowledge from? There's all this hype about take your knowledge from the pious predecessors. And yes, there's a good side of that, but there's also a downside, and people are not paying attention to the downside. If somebody comes into your classroom today and starts telling you these fantastical stories, are you going to think that this person is worth listening to for the rest of your lecture period? So Muslims need to think clearly about this. We need to use these commentaries because they have valuable information that otherwise we wouldn't be privy to, but we need to study them with a critical eye. Take what is good from them, and be circumspect about the legendary accretions in these great works.
Thank you for sharing that, actually.
You're welcome.
Assalamu
alaikum.
Welcome to Muslim Media Hub, the new home of Let the Quran Speak.
Here we spread positivity and good. We help people experience the beauty of Islam and help them appreciate and understand Muslims.
This beautiful building we purchased at cost $2.3 million.
Yeah, we've already raised a third of that money, and with your help, inshallah, we can pay off the rest.
So we're looking for people who can give $1,000 each. If you can be part of the select group, that's amazing.
Otherwise, just please give whatever you can. Every dollar counts.
It's our collective responsibility to share the message of Islam with our fellow human beings. Please help us continue this good work.
It's a sadaqah jariyah, something that will continue to be a benefit to the Muslim community long after Safiya and I are gone.
Please support our work at muslimmediahub.com.
Your support is zakat eligible and tax deductible.
May Allah bless you and your loved ones today and always. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.